Hello guys, welcome to Indian Movie Recap. This movie is about a humanoid robot. One's gaining human emotions, falls in love with his creator's girlfriend, and kidnaps her, and is unstoppable. Watch till the end to know what happens. The film begins showing a lab where Dr. Vasagaran, who is a robotic scientist and creating his dream humanoid robot. Little by little he is starting to see his creation come to life. He is so involved in it he starts ignoring his girlfriend's calls. And the robot is programmed on all human activities and skills. Like dancing, fighting, and so on. And given his own appearance to look exactly like him. And finally, after many years of work, it's finally done. While his assistants asks him, is it time for approval by the government? Doctor replies no. Even though he has been programmed with 100 times the skills and talent of humans. He is still like a newborn baby. He doesn't know anything. We need to take him for public interaction to study. And the doctor heads home after many months. Once home, his parents are surprised to see someone who looks like their son. And ask him, did you clone or something? And the doctor replies, he is my creation, a humanoid robot. And while having breakfast, his parents name the robot Chitty. And ask Chitty to turn on the TV, and he picks the TV and smashes it. Doctor explains, Mom, you should explain to him clearly. And they head off to see the doctor's girlfriend. On the way, the doctor is in a salon to get a haircut. While Chitty reads all the books in a few seconds, including the telephone directory, and surprises everyone by giving them all the numbers of anyone who asks him. But turns his head completely back and scares everyone too. Same afternoon, they come to meet his girlfriend at her college, who is studying senior medicine, while Chitty waits in the car. The doctor explains about him being busy at work, but his girlfriend is angry and wants to break up. But somehow finally Dr. Vasi convinces her. Meanwhile, back at the car, Chitty is faced by the traffic police and questioned, you have parked the car at no parking area. Give me your license. Chitty replies, I don't have a license, but it's programmed in me. And the cop asks, instead of going to court, just pay half the money to me and go, but Chitty misunderstands that and cuts his hand. While Dr. Vasi is back and they run away. While in the car, his girlfriend Sana asks him, who is this, he looks just like you? And replies, I'll explain later. And tells Chitty to look back if he's coming, and drive fast, and Chitty turns his head, and Sana is scared and faints. The following day, they are at the International Robot Conference India, where Dr. Vasi presents his creation Chitty the robot. He is presented to show his skills and intelligence. And many question him, but he gives them all the right answers. One of them asks Chitty, does God exist or not? Chitty asks, who is God? He replied, the one who created us. And Chitty replies, I was created by Dr. Vasagaran, yes, God does exist. And Dr. Vasi gets emotional, and hugs Chitty. Backstage, everyone is impressed by what Chitty can do. Everyone is taking pictures and having fun. While Dr. Bora walks in, who is the head of Indian robotics. Vasi introduces him to Chitty and takes him for a walk, and Bora asks him about his program and asks about him. Finally asks him, what is your neural schema? But Chitty refuses and asks Vasi if he could share it. To which the doctor replies, it's highly confidential as he could be misused. And Dr. Bora says it's okay and leaves. Same time, Sana asks Vasi, can I take Chitty to my home? So he can help me study for the final exams. Vasi replies with a smile, okay, take him. Later that day at Dr. Bora lab, we can see there are hundreds of robots. And Bora gives one of his robot commands to walk and pick up a gun. As the robot walks sideways and picks up a bun. And falls down. Bora is so frustrated that he was never able to figure out a neural schema for the robot to function properly. And the robot tries to kill him. But he turned off the robot in time to save himself from it. Same time, Sana is with Chitty at her home, where she lives with her family along with many women who have lost their husbands in army. And her mom doesn't believe that Chitty is a robot, so Chitty pulls his head off to prove he is a robot. Chitty prepares food for Sana. And they start studying for exams while Chitty helps her prepare for exams. All of a sudden they hear loud music from their neighbors who are bachelors. Which disturbs them, and they head out to their place to ask them to reduce the volume, but they mock them. And Chitty replies, don't worry, it's infrared controlled remote. And Chitty increases the volumes to maximum level. That the entire sound system and glass around burst into pieces. Back home they start to study again, and they hear a loud noise again. And this time it's music played on the street close by, for a festival celebration for a god. And Chitty and Sana go there and ask them nicely to reduce the volume, but they don't listen, so Chitty smashes the stereo. But they start getting weapons to hurt them, but Chitty uses magnetic power and pulls everything that's metal to his body. And people around are scared, not knowing what happened. And they head back home. Back home, Sana is crying that she didn't study anything properly. And Chitty suggests that I'll help you with the exam. Next day during the exam, Chitty is sitting outside the university and connected to Sana at the exam hall via headphones, and gives Sana the answers. Same time, a few professors who are walking around the campus find Chitty, and ask him, "What are you doing here?" Chitty replies, "I am helping Sana for her exam." Because Chitty can't lie. And Sana hears that through the headphones, while the professors bring Chitty to the exam hall and ask Sana about it. She replies, "I don't know who is this, take him away," but starts crying that she treated Chitty like that, and also that she will fail the exam. All of a sudden, Sana sees a projection of answers on her table, which Chitty is projecting from the hiding in the ceiling. Finally, after the exam, Sana is so happy and apologizes to Chitty for treating you like that. But Chitty replies, "I don't have feeling, I didn't feel anything, but I learnt that humans lie when they have to save themselves." While heading back home on a local train, people who Chitty destroyed their stereos get on the train to kill Chitty and Sana, and throws Sana bag out the train, and Sana shouts, "I have my exam hall tickets in that bag." So Chitty jumps off the train and gets the bag. And as the train is speeding away, Chitty uses the tracks with his wheels and the shoes and chases the train, and hops onto an upcoming train and runs over to and gets back onto the train to save Sana. And starts beating up people, and they are no match for Chitty, as he is highly skilled and fast. No matter what they do, they are no match. But Chitty loses power and is thrown off the train. And people chasing Sana in the train, and finally Chitty uses the wire on the track electric box, and runs towards the train and starts running on the side of the train, and gets back in the train and saves Sana. Back at the lab, Dr. Vasi is fixing Chitty, and Sana is excited about what all Chitty can do, and she's so happy that Vasi has created such an amazing robot. And they keep checking Chitty limitations in the following month. And Dr. Vasi takes Chitty to the head of the Indian robotics to get approval for Chitty, so that they can use him in the Indian armed forces to protect soldiers. While most of them approve. But Dr. Bora gives Chitty very confusing commands and asks Chitty to stab Dr. Vasi. And almost kills Dr. Vasi. Which Dr. Bora did it on purpose to reject Chitty, so that he can get his hands on Chitty to produce his robot. And Dr. Bora says robots will never be like humans because they don't have feelings. So drop your dream. Devastated by what happened, Vasi shouts at Chitty while heading back home. And they notice an entire colony on fire, and firefighters complaining there are some people trapped inside. And Vasi orders Chitty to save them. Make sure everyone is alive. And Chitty runs over fire and jumps over buildings and starts saving one by one. Same time, Dr. Vasi calls Dr. Bora and says, "Check the news, the robot you rejected is saving lives." And Chitty searches for more who are in danger, and finds one woman stuck inside, who is naked, and saves her. But she's naked, and when asked by the doctor she's naked Chitty. And Chitty replies, "But she's alive." And the woman is embarrassed, and runs off as the press reporters are taking pictures. And gets hit by a truck and gets killed. And the doctor gets call back from Bora, and says, "See, this is what I mean. He doesn't have human emotions, and this is what happens." Back in the lab, Professor Bora says this robot will never understand human emotions. It's just a waste of time, leave it. Give it to me, I'll sell it for millions of dollars and make you rich. But Dr. Vasi replies, that my dream is to give it to the Indian army. I can give him human emotions, but Bora says that's impossible. But I'll give you 1 month's time. If you don't succeed, dismantle it. And he starts explaining Chitty about human emotions. He's taken by Sana to her home to see how people behave. And Dr. Vasi makes some changes to his program. And while the doctor is explaining about life and its uniqueness in this universe, Chitty gets hit by lightning. And Chitty is taken back to the lab and is fixed. Following week, Dr. Vasi asks Chitty, "Do you see any changes? Anything at all?" And Chitty replies, "No. Everything is as it was before." Doctor gets angry and starts shouting at Chitty. And suddenly Chitty shouts back, "It's all your mistake. I am normal." And the doctor notices that Chitty is showing anger. And is surprised. Chitty walks around and feels everything for the first time like humans. Meanwhile, Sana gets a call that one of the women at home has a pregnancy pain issue. Come to the hospital. It's very serious. And they head to the hospital with Chitty. Once there, the doctor says it's very serious, as the baby's cord is tangled around the neck. We can't save them both. While Chitty interferes, I can save them. And the doctor asks, who are you? And Chitty replies, I am a robot. And I have studied for Santa's exams, I know how to save them both. Doctor replies, that's impossible, I can't allow that. Chitty replies, I will save them both without surgery. And Chitty uses his supervision to see through and slowly untangle the baby and save them both. While it is witnessed by the media that this is the first time in history that a robot has delivered a baby. Once outside, Sana runs in happiness and kisses Chitty. And Chitty has never felt such a feeling. And is surprised for the first time. And confused, what is this feeling, and is frozen. Back in the lab, the doctor is so happy, and tells Chitty to charge up and shut down. I'll see you morning. While Chitty is laying down, he's not able to get Sana off his mind, and projects her to see, and he's mesmerized. He has never felt anything like this. And goes to see Sana in the middle of the night. And asks Sana to give that kiss again, and she replies, hey, you achieved something today, so I kissed you, but okay here, and kisses again. Now Chitty is again feeling something new for his computer system to understand, and realizes that he's fallen in love with Sana. Meanwhile, at Dr. Bora's lab, he's meeting up with some foreigners. Who happens to be a terrorist group, who he had met last year, who were demanding robots for suicide bombing and attacks around the world, and is willing to pay in millions. And Bora shows simulations of them, and they are here for the delivery of those robots. As they have paid millions. And are very angry, and threaten to kill him if he doesn't deliver within a month's time. Following day, Chitty and Dr. Vasi are getting ready for Santa's birthday party. At the party, the doctor announces that he will be getting married to Sana very soon, which shocks Chitty. And while Sana is dancing with Chitty, Chitty tries to kiss Sana. But the doctor pushes him away, and takes him away to talk about, why did you try to kiss Sana? Chitty replies, because I love her. Doctor says, human emotions have been given to you for understanding us, not to misuse them. We both are in love. But you're just a machine, your feelings are not real. Chitty says, you marry someone else. And Sana replies, it's not possible. You are a machine, just delete me from your memory. We'll forget this ever happened. Chitty is upset and sad and just walks away. Back at the lab, Dr. Bora virtual calls Chitty. And starts corrupting him, by saying, you are very advanced, you can wish for anything. Don't listen to Vasi. He's just using you. Chitty replies, that it's against nature for a machine to love humans. But is even more corrupted by Bora by saying, no, it's just new. Same time, Dr. Vasi walks in, and asks, who are you talking to? And Chitty lies, just to myself. Next day, it's the army evaluation for Chitty by the generals. While presenting himself, Chitty starts talking about Sana. With poetry. Even when Vasi commands him to stop, he refuses and continues. The generals laugh, and leave. This is a waste of time. Doctor is frustrated. And once back to the lab, he starts chopping Chitty limb by limb. While Chitty begs, please don't destroy me. I want to live. But the doctor destroyed him completely. And kneels down and starts crying. His assistant dumps him in a garbage dumpster. And ends up in a garbage yard. Next day, Vasi is upset, and Sana takes him out on a drive to cool down, and they plan to get married soon. Meanwhile, Bora finds out Chitty is destroyed, and heads to the dump yard to find Chitty. After a while finds him. And takes him to the lab. And brings in a doctor. Vasi assists the lab and fixes Chitty. But Bora gives Chitty a new programming chip. Which is off destruction. Which turns Chitty into a new evil monster with human emotions and 100 times powerful. Chitty looks at himself in the mirror. And is furious with the new programming. Heads out to see Sana but get informed that they are getting married. Which makes him mad. Chitty goes to the wedding and kidnaps Sana. Shooting his way out. And the police chase him. But Chitty is so powerful, they are no match for him. Even when many squads come, he is just too powerful. When the bridge is blocked, he uses their guns against them. Doctor tries to call Chitty but he doesn't listen. And Chitty starts stealing jewelers, weapons and fuel. But while stealing fuel, he gets blown up by the Coast Guard. But one's inspected by Dr. Vasi. They realize it's not Chitty. And they suspect Dr. Bora, and heads to check on him, but soon realize he was killed by Chitty. And Chitty uses Bora resources to build more robots to look and function like him, as his servants. Later that day, all those robots occupy head of the robotics center as their headquarters. And Sana is taken there, while Chitty explains to her how they are going to live a happy life together. And Sana refuses. At the same time, the doctor is disguised as one of those robots and goes in alone to save Sana with a plan with police to destroy Chitty. Once in, he takes food to Sana, and Chitty realizes something is wrong, and gathers all the robots together and finds out Dr. Vasi. And armed forces strike, while the doctor takes Sana and gets out, while Chitty uses formation mode with other robots to strike them back, and more to their surprise Chitty outsmarts them with more formations, and is unable to defeat him. And Chitty starts chasing the doctor. But the doctor uses the virus to dismantle the formation, and finally catches Chitty and removes the red chip. And finally, by the order of the High Court, as he is too advanced for our time, Chitty is to be dismantled. And Chitty himself dismantles himself and is kept in a museum. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.